Good evening. Dan here again, and this is our fourth video post for our fourth discussion board, our final one, and it's hard to believe it's right here at the end. Also, another little side note: I can't think of a better class or course to be going through in history right now, especially on July 4th, than this particular class. And I thought it was real interesting, just sitting around talking with family members celebrating July 4th yesterday. All the interesting topics and stuff that came up, kind of relating to all this stuff that we're studying now. For the assignment, we were supposed to take a look at one of three amendments, 1, 2, and 10, I believe, and maybe throw some comments up here and kind of discuss it real quick. I chose the 10th Amendment. We don't hear about that as much as we do the First and Second Amendment, naturally. We've heard a lot about that recently. But the 10th Amendment, I think, kind of goes back and harkens to some of the thoughts and beliefs that some of the founding fathers had about anti-federalism, trying to keep the federal government from getting too big and kind of running over the states' rights and the people's rights as well. So that's kind of what the 10th Amendment means to me, at least on a basic level. And the words of the 10th Amendment are pretty simple. It's not a real long one. Basically, it says, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people." And when you look at that and even listen to it, it sounds pretty vague, like there could be a lot of interpretation to that as far as what is or isn't powers given to the federal government. And in a sense, that is true. The federal government does have some express powers, so to speak, like protection of the country, engaging in foreign trade, taxes, things like that. And with that, there's no question. But through the centuries, there have been discussions in court cases, many of them actually, where they bring in the 10th Amendment, and it's brought in that, or part of the case is that the federal government's trying to overreach its bounds and stepping on states' rights. One of the more recent ones that I can think of in recent history is the Obamacare law that was put into place. There were a variety of ways that was fought once it was in place. But I remember one of the cases involved was along the 10th Amendment lines, that how it was set up, fees, penalties, things like that were kind of reaching into the state's pockets or the state's purview, if you will, and the federal government was overreaching. There, to help, I guess, kind of clear it up, or maybe it doesn't really clear it up, there are a variety of clauses that are set up as well. The necessary and proper clause is one of them that I'm thinking of, also called the elastic clause. But some of these clauses basically allow the federal government to set up laws and do things that helps it take care of its main powers, if you will, or the main functions of the federal government. So when you look at the amendment, it's kind of vague in some respects, and these clauses that have come along, they kind of give the federal government, if you will, power to do stuff or institute laws, come out with policies that help it support its main functions. And the necessary and proper clause, as one of them, is in the last paragraph of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18, and it talks about the government getting flexibility when creating laws and so forth. I'll a lot of information, a lot more than that I could go over in just a few minutes. But certainly take a look at what's out there, learn, and thanks a lot for listening.